Hey gents! Exclamation point. Now that Rockstar has implemented ray tracing into Grand Theft Auto 5, how likely do you think we'll get a similar update to Red Dead Redemption 2? There's a rumored Nintendo Switch 2 port and a long-awaited 60 FPS patch, so maybe there's a chance. Would it then be a worthy Graphics of the Year competitor? Cheers. Interesting question, right, Alex? Because obviously the ray tracing features have been added to the Rage engine.
Yeah.
Presumably they've been backported to the older versions of the Rage engine based on the existence of Grand Theft Auto 5's ray tracing upgrades. So what do you think?
I mean, that's a really cool idea. I think it's a fantastic one. The idea, there should have been a Red Dead Redemption 2 port at some point to the current gen, including, updating that PC version, just like they did with GTA 5, but it has yet to materialize. There's rumors of it. It'd be really cool to see. I think it would be a great way to revitalize that game's maybe online aspect. That said, easier said than done for a lot of reasons. The differences we saw between Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5 were monstrous. It was so much better on every aspect. The entire rendering paradigm changed between the years of that game releasing and Red Dead Redemption 2 coming out. So I think if they did add it, it would be a big challenge, bigger scope challenge than what we saw. Just the world diversity in terms of so much more vegetation, something that isn't so much of an issue in GTA 5's most areas of that game. But also the visual return would be different. So there's a lot less man-made glass structures, etc. in Red Dead Redemption 2. And most of the world is green and brown, right? So bounce lighting would be less obvious than occlusion would be. And so it would have a different result. And depending upon whether or not they find that worthwhile, I don't know if they would actually port it in the end, every aspect of the ray tracing suite, because they'd have a different set of visual trade-offs and performance trade-offs. So who knows? But I think it would be an amazing idea. And the game was already really good looking. So it could potentially be on the list if it got the full ray tracing upgrade. I could totally see that.
Well, looking at the features that are available, what would be a good fit? I mean, obviously, if they're going to bring it to consoles, which is mooted, they wouldn't be using the full array of RT features that they put into GTA 5. I mean, the obvious candidate would be global illumination, but the GI in Red Dead is already really good.
Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Yeah, so what do you think they could sort of dip into?
I mean, I would probably do GI. Just because the game already uses SSAO plus a static AO contribution that goes underneath any of the areas with overhangs, like the buildings and such. Mm-hmm. It gets a static AO. It doesn't change based upon time of day, but it's always there. And it does give a good semblance of occlusion, on the outside edges of a building. Inside of buildings, very different story, of course. But that could make the city areas of the game look even more impressive than they already do. It could even just help any of the cool whitewashed scenes in the snow look a lot better. But beyond that, I would probably say RTAO could be adding that in. I don't know if the shadows are so necessarily worth it. Rather, I imagine because the game already had a pretty good shadowing system. Yeah.
Oliver, thoughts?
Yeah, the shadows had that nice variable penumbra effect to them. They looked really, really good, even on the consoles, I thought. But I don't think they will do a major update for Red Dead Redemption 2, in part because I think the online didn't hit as big as GTA 5 did. They discontinued support for that online service, at least active development for that online service some years ago, and apparently they also canceled an internal next-gen update for Red Dead Redemption 2 at some point. Maybe there will be a 60 FPS patch, maybe there will be a Switch 2 version. But yeah, I was actually thinking a little bit more about a Switch 2 version of another Rockstar game, which is GTA 5. I actually beat GTA 5 on PC a few months ago with Maxed RT, and it runs really well there. I also tried it on ROG Ally, and you can actually enable and turn on all the RT settings and set it to medium or even high there, and get a perfectly playable experience at 1080p with FSR3 in performance mode. So I think that if they were to port GTA 5 to Switch 2, I think they probably could run ray tracing on it in some capacity, because it does appear to run pretty well on devices like the Steam Deck, on devices like the ROG Ally, with considerable ray tracing. That's a much lighter game as well in general, so maybe they could get away with something like that. But for Nintendo Switch 2 port, I would probably not imagine that they would be bringing in a whole lot of new features outside of maybe exploiting, DLSS, the standard kind of laundry list of Switch 2 optimizations, things like that.
GTA 5 is such a good choice for Switch 2. I mean, you've just got so much scalability just built into the game from the off. Just makes a lot of sense there. As for the Red Dead 2 port or the current gen upgrade that's being mooted, I just think 60 frames per second is probably going to be the focus there. I'm going to be curious if they can actually get to 4K 60, because the Xbox One X version at native 4K, man, that was something that I couldn't replicate on a similarly powerful PC part. Obviously, there isn't a similarly capable PC part, but the RX 580, 590, similar levels of compute power, but less memory bandwidth, and it was just nowhere near to 4K 30 on equivalent settings. So I'm going to be curious to see whether they can actually get to 4K 60. When I did some sort of projections based on the RX 6700, which is broadly in line with current gen consoles, GPU power, you kind of needed 1800p 60 to make that work. So I'm curious to see what the wizards at Rockstar are going to come up with, assuming it is actually a thing, because it is just a rumored thing at the moment.